You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, hello Night Nation, hello Orlando. This is Andrew Phegley, and this is Knightline at Night. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your new Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. And we're taking your calls as well. You can always call and talk to us because we may need you tonight because we don't have very much to talk about. Anyway, that number, if you want to call us, write it down, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature on the WDBO app. Once again, I am Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. I got Big Ben Stout here with me at Big Social 32 on Twitter, and you can find all the rest of our content on NightlineSports.com. Roger is off for the evening, and Ronald is in the studio. Good to have Ronald back. Haven't talked to him in a while. Welcome. And we're going to talk about UCF sports. That's what we talk about. Knightline.
That's right.
You know, it kind of makes sense. So, you know, it's kind of the dead of what you called the summer.
It's the off season.
Off season for sports, for anything except what is the NBA still going on? Is it over?
The NBA Finals is on Game 4 tonight, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's almost over.
So it's going on. Yeah,
hockey's over. I've got baseball, but I could care less about baseball. I don't like baseball.
Yeah, we are in what is known as the dark ages in my household. We're a couple days away from the NBA Final. I haven't really been paying too much attention. But we're a couple days away from the NBA Finals, and then we just got to wait for college football. But luckily, hey, we get a stopgap in the Olympics this year.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that'll be sports.
Yeah,
we don't have any UCF people on there, I don't think. But you know,
one day
we can. Yeah, we've had them before, so we'll have them again next year or next Olympics probably.
Not to put you on the spot, Andrew, but how many days do we have until that September 2nd? Matchup.
You know, I have to look that up.
ESPN Thursday night against Boise State, and the bounce house is going to be rocking. I'm trying to stall while you're looking this up.
51 days.
51 days.
Yes. I could have just subtracted 7 days from last week, but I'm not smart enough to do that.
Yeah,
so.
That would have been really putting you on the spot if you had to do basic math.
Yeah, basic math is like way beyond where I'm at right now.
We are almost under 50 days.
Yeah,
we are
51.
Definitely under 2 months.
51 days until college football for UCF starts, and it's going to be a good one against Boise State. Haven't heard any trash talking really yet with their fans, which is kind of surprising. Because you know they're proud of their team as well.
We've had an interesting relationship with Boise State fans over Twitter and all that. Like they kind of cheer us on. They understand where we're at, but at the same time they want to be that main quote unquote group of five school that makes the most noise nationally. It's just they're just not anymore.
They haven't been for a while. So. Well, it hasn't been us for the last couple of years either. So.
Yeah, we have to claim that top spot, not only in that first game of the season, but a little later on against Cincinnati. That's for sure. Yeah,
so definitely a little bit of football recruiting news. Our little commitment list is starting to fill up.
It is.
And a couple fairly good guys on there. So excited to see a 4-star on there now. Is it Nakai?
Yes, Nakai Martinez.
Yeah, Nakai Martinez from Apopka, Florida.
From my neck of the woods. I'm excited to watch him play some football next year, his senior year at Apopka. It's right down the street from me.
So Seminole played Apopka last year to get into the what a high school football final championship.
State championship final, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess what are they? They're
the Blue Darters.
Blue Darters. And I could not understand because I was watching that game on like some online service or whatever, and all you heard was the home announcer, know, and he kept saying Blue Darters is how he says it. And I just could not understand what he was saying though, so I didn't know it was Darters.
Yeah, Blue Darters. Yeah,
I didn't know what he was saying.
And they're a storied football program. They've won a ton of state championships there at Apopka, and so getting a player from them, I think he might be our first, if not second or third all time. Getting it from that storied program. His list was a mile long, so a lot of great schools on that list.
Yeah,
so
let me go through that list a little bit because this is one thing that I really like to do. I like to go through these lists and just see, who was trying to recruit this person. Who did we win over? Mm-hmm. And then this list is pretty much everybody. Everybody is on this list.
Yeah.
So obviously us, Arkansas, Auburn, Charlotte, Cincinnati, Clemson, Florida, FIU, Florida State. He had offers from all these, by the way. Georgia Tech, Indiana, Kent State, Maryland, Mississippi State, Notre Dame, Penn State, South Carolina, Southern Miss, Tennessee, West Virginia, Alabama, and Miami and Wisconsin. So, I am very happy when we can beat those teams. I don't care if the dude has no stars and we beat those teams.
Yeah.
He has offers from every one of those programs. Every one of those programs wanted him, and we got him. And that makes me extremely happy.
Yeah, two amazing things about it, right? Number one, he could have chosen to go basically anywhere in the country. He could write his own ticket, and you looked at that. I mean, Alabama, Clemson, these other schools. I mean, these are in the quote unquote Final Four, the playoff every single year. These are the top of the top programs, and he could have gone to any one of them, and he chose to stay home and go to UCF. And the second part is that fact that he stayed home and being able to maybe get in with a top high school program like Apopka and top high school talent. Hopefully it's the tip of the iceberg. It's more to come.
Recruited by my guy, David Gibbs. Who was actually my position coach in college, which is amazing, like 25 years
full
later
circle
or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that he's at UCF now. It's unbelievable, which I still have not talked to him, and I'm going to at some point when the season starts or something. I'll get over there and talk to him, but super cool that he is here. And then Nakai Martinez as well. Very, very cool. You can watch all these guys that we talk about their high school, at least their junior year, which they're getting ready to play their senior year. So you can see all their junior year highlights. This guy played really well. Fast, nose for the ball, a big time player. So
he seemed to be a really shut down corner, like the type of guy that could just really cover anybody and put him on an island. And I think even his hashtag on Twitter was like Nakai Island numerous times.
You can see if you watch these film footage things of these kids, you can see the guys that stand out, especially in high school football, because it's just a different level. But you can see the guys that are college ready, even in their junior year in high school, that are playing, just dominating their position.
Right.
And he was definitely one of those guys. So that's good.
And we also, not to change to a different player, Nakai Martinez is just awesome, but we also got some immediate help in the secondary. Nakai will be here in a couple years in 2022 class, but we got some immediate help with Jarvis Ware. I want to make sure I said that name right. Yep, Jarvis Ware out of Missouri. He, I believe he had a AC. Yeah. Well, he's smartened up and he's come
that's what
home.
I said when you said that he was from Missouri earlier. I was like, well, at least got smart and left that.
And he actually he is also another local guy. He's actually from Apopka as well. He went to Wekiva High School, but he played 2 years at Missouri. He's coming off an ACL injury, so hopefully he can bounce back really strong. But some of the highlights you were just mentioning, seeing some of the highlights, what I saw was pretty cool about him is he's not only a really pretty good defensive back, or at least seems to be from the highlights. But he also seems to have a lot of skills in the return game. I don't think that he necessarily participated in that at Missouri. I'm not 100% sure on that. But that being said, he was a pretty good returner in high school. So maybe he gets into the mix there, because right now I don't think we really exactly know who is going to be the main return guys for us. I mean, Ryan O'Keefe, Johnny Richardson's. There's a lot of, I was on
a Tulane podcast earlier today, tonight, and I'm going to drop the name because I'm a nice guy like that. It was called the Uptown Update.
All right.
Uptown Update. And so they had me on there to talk about UCF, and I was telling them about UCF and all that stuff, and just talking about recruits and all that, and talking about a little bit about watching film and stuff like that. And speaking of film, I watched Big Cat Bryant's high school film.
Oh, did you?
If you go back, and I've talked, at all end about this guy, because I'm so excited to have him on our team. He's a new addition, not a commit from this year, but a new addition as a transfer from Auburn.
Another one of those awesome transfers that Gus got. He was one of the first.
Yeah. And he is in high school, at least, he was an absolute beast.
Right.
I mean, he was one of those guys that you just saw this one guy on the field just destroying everybody. One of the things that I liked about him, and he plays a little bit different, and I was kind of surprised because of what people had talked about with him, but he kind of used his body more than I expected. I expected him to be like more of an end rusher. He would just run over people.
Just destroy people. Just bull rush them. Huh?
Bull rush them, run right over the top of them, and keep going, and was in the quarterback's face constantly.
Oh, I can't wait to see him do that in the black and gold.
Yeah. So maybe not as I was picturing. I really never saw him play at Auburn, but I've just heard so many good things about him, and I was expecting him to be a little bit more of a finesse end rusher, but no, he just runs him over. He doesn't care. He just runs right over him. I love to see that. Another defensive end that did sign on as a recruit, as a commit, Keenest Thompson from Lakeland, the 30th of July, or June. So that was, pretty close here as well.
He also had a really strong offer list. I know we're coming up against a break here. We can talk about it afterwards, but yeah, he had a really strong offer list. That also included that school from Alabama, that the big one there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go through his list here in a little while. Another kid that I'm kind of excited about that came from the west side over there, came from Tampa, which is not in South Florida, by the way. Just so y'all know, Tampa is in West Florida.
That's
not
right.
The west side of the peninsula of Florida.
I got you.
TJ Bullard, linebacker. All right, well, I guess we're taking our break. We'll be right back on Knightline at night, and we'll talk a lot more about this stuff.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chad Barr Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chad Barr Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices, Altamont Springs.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Looking for more out of your Porsche? Look no further than Flat6Motorsports.com. They have the widest selection of aftermarket Porsche parts anywhere in the world. With over 85 product lines and in-depth expertise, Flat6Motorsports.com is your one-stop shop for any Porsche performance needs. Whether you're shopping for intakes, exhausts, suspension, or tuning, they have you covered. Flat6Motorsports.com is the premier Porsche aftermarket specialist. Check them out at Flat6Motorsports.com.
And now, back to Nightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back with you on Nightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios and brought to you by Chad Barlaw, talking UCF sports. Got Big Ben Stout here with me at Big Social 32 on Twitter. I am AP_Nightline on Twitter. Talking UCF sports, and we were talking about recruits that we're getting in our football recruiting zone at this point. Keenis Thompson, we were going to talk about from defensive end from Lakeland, Florida, 6'4", 235. I'm sure he will put on a little bit of weight to do that job. But like the guy before him, has quite an offer list as well, and we'll run through those real quick. UCF, obviously, Alabama, Arizona State, Auburn, football international, Florida International. I'm surprised that I would mess that up like that because they're definitely not football international. Anyway, Florida State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Miami, Mississippi, Nebraska, Penn State, Pittsburgh, South Carolina, University of Southwest Florida over there, Tennessee, Texas, USC, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. So offers from all of those guys as well. So pretty good.
Yeah, and I think at the end it came down to Miami, Texas, and us, and you know, he chose us over those schools along with all the others that you just let, you know, that are.
So think about that.
Yeah,
think about that for a second. Texas, Miami, and UCF. A few years ago, you would have no recruit that was worth anything had those three schools. I mean, a few years
as
ago,
their top three,
their top three,
right?
And definitely, I mean, UCF just was not in that.
Mm-mm.
We are now, and that is awesome. Just every time we say that, I have to sit there and, you know, like almost pinch myself and be like, this is really happening. These kids that are offered by these perennial powerhouse, blue blood, Power 5, whatever you want to call them,
right,
schools, and they're choosing to come to UCF.
Yep.
That's a wonderful thing.
I mean, Gus said one of the first things he said in his opening press conference, right, his introductory press conference, he said, we're going to recruit like our hair's on fire. But everything he did after he said that, from the hiring of his entire coaching staff, you saw this great mix of experience and energy and you know, these guys that no matter where they were in that spectrum, they can connect with recruits and connect with the players that are on our team. And you're seeing the dividends of that. I mean, he has cast a wide net, as you've said numerous times on this program. He is going after anybody and everybody who he thinks that will contribute to this program, and it's starting to pay off.
That gives me an idea of what we're going to talk about in the next segment.
Sure.
Because I honestly didn't have anything planned for this evening. But I want to talk about our expectations. And this was a question that they asked me on that podcast that I was on earlier tonight. And I kind of answered it, and I kind of didn't, just because I was like, they kind of put me on the spot.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's their job to put me on the spot. But I want to talk about that later, because we don't have very much time as far as right now to get into a subject like this. But I want to talk about the expectation of Gus Malzahn and our offense, because I kind of gave an answer on there, and I don't know, but I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
just you and I. If callers want to get in, you can call 844-580-9326 and talk to us about that in particular, because I think there's a lot of questions as far. I mean, we all know who Gus Malzahn is. We know that he's struggled in the last couple of years at Auburn. He was fired, frankly, from Auburn. That was our opportunity to get him. But he seems re-energized, and I think that it'll be interesting to see. And then the comparisons between what we've been used to the last couple of years with the 4 plays, but 4 plays that put a lot of points on the board.
That's right.
Now we're going to have 55 plays, but will we put that many points on the board? Will we do what we did in the past in the future as far as that goes? So I think that will be a good conversation for later. So we're getting there on that break. This is such a short segment on this last one here, this middle one.
And we can get into it after the break. But I mean, one thing that we have said on previous shows, and we continue to say since Gus has been here, is we both believe, I think that Dillon Gabriel is the most talented quarterback that Gus Malzahn has had as a head coach, because it's arguable if he's more talented than Cam Newton was at Auburn.
I think,
but as a head coach,
I think as a thrower, he's
probably the best arm he's ever coached. So
by far, I believe better than Cam Newton.
So you got to think Gus Malzahn is not only energized to be here, but he's part of the things taking the job. He's probably energized to coach that guy. And so that's exciting for us, of course, but it's got to be super exciting for Gus.
And this is another thing that I said. There's guys that a university goes after, and then there's there's coaches that go after a university. And Gus went after UCF. Yeah. Gus wanted this job.
Yeah.
He didn't need this job. He got $23 million for being fired.
To not coach.
Yeah. He didn't need the job, so he wanted the job. All right. We're going to take that break, and we'll be right back on Knightline at Night, and we'll get into all that stuff. It'll be exciting. Come back. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love Tijuana Flats. I would love them even if they weren't a partner with us on the Knightline Sports Network. They have all kinds of great Tex-Mex food, and it's fresh, by the way. Made to order burritos, tacos, enchiladas, chimichangas, quesadillas, bowls, nachos, and taco salads. And if you haven't tried the queso, you are completely missing out. It is the best queso that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely hands down. And the sauce bar that they have, everything from wild to mild in there. Absolutely awesome, awesome stuff. Not only do I love the food at Tijuana Flats, but I love the company, a UCF-born company. And they give back to the community with the Justin Queso Foundation. So head to your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. Hey Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain? Or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. But we're taking your calls if you want to call us, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature on the WDBO app. Once again, I'm Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. Got Big Ben Stout here with me at BigSocial32 on Twitter. You can find all the rest of our content on NightlineSports.com. Talking UCF sports, and before the break, I said that I wanted to talk about our expectations in this segment for Gus Malzahn. It's going to be a little bit of a different offense, obviously, than we've had for the last couple of years, way more than 4 plays. But will it be as efficient is one of my biggest questions. And if we look at stats from last year, UCF versus Auburn Tigers, they're very different. We know that Gus kind of was struggling for the last couple of years, and I don't know if it was the talent that he had around him. I don't know if it was the rest of the coaching staff. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was burnt out. He does not seem tired or burnt out being at UCF. Reinvigorated. This is what he's said. This is what a lot of people that know him have said. And, you know, he was the guy, one of the guys, that started the no huddle offense, wrote the book, literally wrote the book on this offense.
Hurry up, no huddle, right? That was the name of the book.
Yeah. By Gus Malzahn. Literally find it on Amazon. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are doing something very similar, now in college football. It's pretty much the offense. Now there's different versions of it. Josh Heupel was running a version that was Mike Leach, basically.
Yeah, it was how many plays can you fit into one single possession, right, or one single game? Really, it was just very quick to the line and all that. That's not Gus's. It's not.
Gus is much more of a cerebral coach.
Yeah,
he's not going to get out coached like Heupel did.
No,
Heupel got out. And if you look at the majority of the losses that we had when Heupel was around, and what was it, 7 or 8 losses?
Yeah, I think it's 8 at the end of it. Yeah.
Every single one of those almost was because he got out coached.
Right.
In one way or another. So that is not going to happen, I don't believe, with Gus. It may once or twice, but not very often. Gus has been coaching against Nick Saban, and a bunch of other guys, Dabo Sweeney, guys that he really had to keep. Well, not really Dabo in and out, but yes,
I'm sure they played against each other at one point.
But I was trying to think of SEC coaches, but they're not in the SEC; they're in the ACC. So. Whatever.
But yeah, top, coaches, not only coaches, but teams just in general, right?
Top coaches and blue blood teams all the time, constantly.
And there's not one thing on the football field that Gus Malzahn probably hasn't seen before, right? So he's that experience to back it up is really important.
Although at UCF, you'll see something that you've probably never seen before. I don't know what that's going to be, but there's going to be some weird thing that happens.
I'm sure.
We'll be like, what? I've never seen that before. So just let's look at this real quick, the stats. So last year, UCF scored 42.2 points per game. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. Auburn scored 25.3. Okay. Total points, if you break that down, 422 points for UCF, 278 points for Auburn. First downs, 55 for UCF, 31 for Auburn. Completions and attempts, we'll look at that as far as passing goes. For UCF, 249 of 415, basically. And then Auburn was 216 of 362. So, and then rushing, we rushed 444 times for 2,107 yards. They rushed 392 times for 1,788 yards. So, yards per rush, though, the exact same, which is interesting. Rushing yards per game, though, we had 210. They had 162. Passing yards, I'm going to go back up to that real quick. Net passing yards, 3,574 for UCF, 2,423 for Auburn.
Do they have the same amount of games? They had 10 games last year?
I believe.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure about that. Did the SEC only play 8, or did they play 10? Not sure.
They might have played 10 with a bowl game. Oh, actually, they weren't in a bowl game last year, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Auburn. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate to do it. Yeah, 10.
Okay,
They
so
played
yeah,
10.
equal amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they played all of those, though. They may not have played a couple of those. Oh, no, that was this year's schedule. I'm sorry. Let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And then they played Mississippi State. They did play in a bowl game. They played in the Citrus Bowl last year.
Okay.
Against Northwestern and lost.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a different style offense, but I think it's tough to compare points for points, certainly, because I mean, as much as we hate to say it, I mean, the SEC is very much a defensive league, right? And there's only a few schools in the American that are essentially like a lockdown defense, really a whole lot of talent on that side of the ball. Tulsa is one of those that come to mind, Cincinnati as well. But there's a lot more of that in the SEC. And so I think that the style of play is much different. Just in the leagues, so it's tough to compare. But then also, I think the maturity of how balanced he wants to manage a game is just going to be far different than what we saw with Josh Heupel, where Josh Heupel put his defense kind of on their heels a lot, his own defense, because they were on the field so often. That no 2-touchdown lead was safe, right?
That's one of the things that I think is going to be very different.
The balance.
Big time balance. And then, making smart decisions as well, I think is going to be a big deal compared to what Josh, and I liked Josh Heupel, so I really hate to talk too bad about him because I liked him as a guy, but, there were 4 plays and there were more than 4 plays, but it seemed like there were 4 plays because it was the same running play, the same passing play, the same running play.
Run it up the middle, pass it deep, right?
Yeah, back and forth. Every other play, and people started to figure that out. Teams like Cincinnati, unfortunately. And I got to play this little sound, which you.
Oh, please don't! Oh, so gross.
that's the Bearcat puking.
Hopefully, after the game this year, they'll be using that.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's look at this real quick. Let's look at. I want to look at a statistic here. And if I can pull it up, I've got 2 ESPN screens so I can look at this stuff. And now for some reason, my browser doesn't want to do this. Okay, here we go. Let's look at 4th down efficiency, which is kind of a big deal. Heupel liked to go for it on 4th down a little bit.
Yes.
And did very well at times going for it on 4th down. And the statistics are very good, actually, for that 54.55% of the time he got the 4th down. He went for it 12 times or 22 times and got it 12 times. So Gus last year went for it 11 times and got it 3 times for 27.27, which,
half the attempts, though.
Half the attempts. And didn't get it nearly as much. But, a really experienced coach that wants to do things very balanced and a little bit more conservative, I would say, conservative coaching. Like, you're not going to take the big chances, for a turnover in those situations or an interception in those situations or whatever.
Well, yeah, if you don't make it, that's turnover, right? I mean, it's turnover on downs, but you're right.
But it could be a pick six as well,
but
if
also,
you're not careful, or a fumble that gets run back for a touchdown.
While we don't know everything about Auburn's team last year, I mean, what we do know about our team is that there wasn't a whole lot of trust in the kicking game last year. So Heupel might have he went for it on fourth down a lot, so sometimes out of desire and situational, like he wanted to go ahead and do it. But I don't know what Auburn's kicking game was like last year. Maybe they had more of an extended field in order to kick a field goal, and so Gus had more confidence in his kicker to go for it as opposed to going for it on the fourth down. So,
well, I can tell you right here, field goal attempts for UCF 17. Made 12 of them. For Auburn last year, they had 22 field goal attempts and made 20 of them.
Yeah, so more consistency and only slightly more, only 5 more kicks. And hopefully you can look up this stat quickly as well, because I think this shows what we're talking about as well. How about third down efficiency? Because that was a little bit of a trouble for Heupel's offensive teams.
Third down efficiency of 160 attempts, we got the third down on 78 of them, or converted 78. So the 48.75 for UCF and 44.94 for Auburn. They went for it, or they had 158 third downs and made 71 of them.
So actually even a little bit less for Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. One of the things that we struggled with Heupel is because of how fast that offense was, fast in between plays. That if we had a 3 and out, it was just really tough on our defense, So,
well, let's look at total offensive plays, because that'll be an interesting one as far as that goes. For UCF, 881. For Auburn, 775. It's not that different.
100 plays over the course of the year, that's 10 a game. Yeah. So in this case, that's a little more than 10 or 11 a game. It can make a difference, I guess, offensive plays.
Yeah. Total yards for the season, 5,681 for UCF offensively, 4,221 for Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And yards per game, we were averaging really high.
First in the nation, I believe.
Yeah, 568.1, but only, 568.1. They averaged 382.8. So, interesting.
Well, okay, so I guess we can boil it down to maybe I'll ask you a question. What one of the things you said earlier on the podcast that you were on, as far as your expectations of offense, now that you've had time to think about it, what are some of the things there?
Well, I mean, I expect kind of the things that I was talking about here. I expect him to be cerebral about it and not, be so emotional of a coach in a way. And not to get out coached as easily as, he'll kick the freaking field goal when it's right there, instead of maybe going for a fourth down,
right?
That doesn't have any chance of making it or whatever. Or, I loved it when he went for it on fourth down. When we made it, but I did not like it when he didn't. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you.
And everybody would say that.
But I know what you mean, though, and I think that situationally he'll be just so much better. He'll know when to speed it, go a little faster.
He's been around a lot longer.
But he'll also know, and I feel like Heupel wasn't great about this, that sometimes Heupel would slow it down when it was not necessary, and that hurt the rhythm of our team.
Big time. He'd slow it down in the second quarter.
Right.
All right, we'll be back on Knightline at night right after this.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Welcome. This is a promo for the Take a Left at Albuquerque podcast, new to the Knightline Sports Network. You should listen to it. I say things like this. We need to stop blaming Jerry because we would do the exact same thing if we owned the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Do you know how much fun it is to own the Dallas Cowboys? My guests will say things sometimes like this.
It's the Lord of the Flies thing that happens when they don't understand that things are wrong, spoiler alert, until Piggy dies.
Lord of the Flies has been out for like 100 years. I don't even know.
Sorry to everyone at home who I spoiled the book for. A book's been out for like 90 years or something.
And sometimes, rarely though, I'll say really stupid things like this. If they don't make it out of the West and the Raptors get to the finals, I will go on either this show or whoever's show and say that Kawhi Leonard is overrated because I have too much evidence of it. New episodes drop every Friday with me and some of my good friends right here on the Knightline Sports Network.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw. Got Andrew from Oviedo, our good friend, on the phone. We want to get to him quick because this is a short segment. Andrew from Oviedo, are you there, my man?
Yes, sir. Doing well.
What's going on? How are you tonight?
Doing good. Just got out of a softball practice. I'd stop by and give you guys a questionnaire. That time of the afternoon.
What's on your mind tonight? We'll try to get it in. This is a short segment, so.
Yep. So pretty much with the new addition of the Nicholson Fieldhouse turf being renovated, I guess my question to you was what thing would you think is the next thing to either be renovated or possibly fixed? And that could either be academic or athletic at UCF.
Wow. Okay. You always give such a great question, man. We really appreciate it. Wow. When this whole topic came up of them, like Terry Mahajer, the new AD, came out and said, all these things need to be fixed. That turf was not horrible in that. I mean, I played on the old AstroTurf, the old stuff that was like literally like 1/8 of an inch thick, and it was like playing on concrete, and that's what was underneath it. So any of this soft, bouncy freaking turf that they have is a beautiful thing, and that's what it was like. I've been in the field house a bunch of times and walked on that turf. And it was bouncy and nice and soft, like a mattress almost. I mean, it was anyway. So they put the nice field turf with the little black rubber pieces in there. It's beautiful. I saw it today for the first time. I would say, do something with the stadium. Do some kind of an upgrade, but don't do an upgrade that's going to make it where, it restricts a bunch of people from moving. Kind of like the last couple upgrades where you can't even walk all the way around the stadium anymore on the bottom level. I don't like that. You can't walk around on the middle anymore either, but do something with the stadium. I don't know what they can do. I mean, they've done lots of things in the last couple of years, but I think that's something that kind of needs, focus. Maybe put more actual seats in. I don't know.
Yeah, I think as far as what I think is going to happen with Terry Mahajer and some of the things that he's hinted at, I think that actually we're going to go in the opposite direction of what you just said, more seats. I think it's going to be less seats because I think that they're going to install some more premium seating in certain areas and probably upgrade a lot of coaches' facilities.
Seats instead of the bleachers.
Yeah, instead of the bleachers. I would take that all day long, especially in my cheap seats where my family pack is. But I actually think that more kind of premium seating within the stadium, I think, is probably going to be the next big step, along with finishing the Lazy River and other things that he wants to do.
Yeah, the Lazy River. That's another thing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
They need to get that done, the Recovery Cove or whatever. Andrew, what about you? Are you still there?
Yeah, I think just with me I think that the softball stadium needs a few upgrades.
It does.
That's for sure. That's a good call.
My daughter did the youth softball camp last week, and looking at the field, I'm like, I think it needs a little sprucing up, honestly.
Yeah, and that's one thing that it's been a nice field over there, but they could make it even nicer and maybe secure some of those regional tournament things as well. So that would be a big help. I know they need a scoreboard in the baseball and the softball stadiums. So that would be a fairly easy upgrade that wouldn't cost too much. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it for you calling. We got to get real quick to a hot take. Tijuana Flats hot take of the week. Welcome to the Tijuana Flats hot take of the week. Visit TijuanaFlats.com for takeout or delivery, or visit your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. It's Taco Tuesday, so if you haven't had your tacos yet, they've probably closed, but I don't know. I don't know how late they stay open, but anyway, Ben, I'm going to let you take this one.
All right, real quick, my hot take is incorporated with a little bit of news with basically 9 of our top 10 scorers on the UCF basketball team are back. Our entire team from last year that was contributing, along with 5 fresh faces that is arguably our best recruiting class ever. My hot take is simple. This is the most talented basketball team that Johnny Dawkins has ever coached. And so the expectations are starting to raise pretty high for me on this basketball team. And I think that they've got a real shot of being a contender in the American. I'm not going as far as saying they're guaranteed to make the dance, but this year could be special if we can stay healthy.
You think more talented than that team that almost beat Duke?
Yes, I am going to say that. I'm going to say the more depth and talent on this team.
Wow, awesome. All right, we're looking forward to that. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Go Knights.
Charge on.